This is News 8 Now, This Morning.
Why are you so opposed to answering our questions as an audience? That's why I came here tonight.
At this time,
No, we haven't.
Something's happening out in the parking lot, someone's intimidating them out there, if they're following them to and from the polls, then you definitely want to call law enforcement, get them involved.
There are thousands of people who are convicted for marijuana possession who may be denied employment, housing, or educational opportunities as a result of that conviction. My pardon will remove this burden on them.
Good stories, mostly some folk tales, some legend kinds of stories. There are two of our tellers that make up their own stories, so they're original stories. And one is a true story based on something that happened in Wisconsin.
That is a preview of what we've got coming up for you this Friday morning. I want to thank you for joining us. A good Friday morning to you. I'm Jordan Fremstad.
And I'm Derek Sibley, who was pretty cold this morning.
I was pretty cold this morning. I do pay attention to our forecast, I promise. Good. I just forgot my coat this morning, and it was the wrong move.
Yeah,
when we stepped out the door.
Oof,
Mother Nature never lets us know her next move. She's like, okay, we're going to have fall, and then, nah, we're just going to jump right in.
We're just going to feel like more like the winter season, right? Let's just have at it. Hey, let's brace ourselves. It's kind of like a pre-winter, right? Well, hey, I could tell you it's at least 15 or actually 10 to 20 degrees colder this morning compared to what it was yesterday. So don't be like Jordan and forget your jackets. You're going to need that here at least during the morning hours. Let's get a check now on your temperatures. You can see we're in the 30s. It's in the low 30s, as a matter of fact, now in Black River Falls and Sparta. 34, not too far off from that in Eau Claire. 33 in Viroqua and 38 now in La Crosse, the warm spot really. The rest of us looking at mostly clear skies here to start us off this morning. And as far as your day planner is concerned, we may see a few more increasing clouds later this morning, followed by some mostly cloudy weather conditions with temperatures in the 50s this afternoon. Your allergy report today is low for ragweed and weeds. Mold is high. Same is in store as we head into Saturday. But I'll be back with your schoolcast in just a bit. Jordan?
All right. Thanks a lot for that update, Derek. La Crosse School Superintendent Aaron Engel is facing criticism from parents who say he refuses to answer their questions about the district's upcoming referendum. News 8 Now received this video from a parent at Thursday night's public information session. This November, voters will decide whether to approve a nearly $195 million referendum to combine Central and Logan high schools. Superintendent Engel and staff have been holding informational meetings for weeks. On Thursday, parents tell us Engel answered questions for less than 15 minutes, and when he did, the crowd started shouting.
Why are you so opposed to answering our questions as an audience? That's why I came here tonight.
At this time, we've transitioned to small groups.
No, we haven't.
Now, the district's communications coordinator says the last 5 information sessions have been the same. His statement to News 8 Now reads in part, a few attendees did not want to move into small groups and began to shout over the beginning of that portion of the session. Once the brief interruption concluded, our team resumed answering questions in small groups until all remaining questions were answered and all attendees departed. You can read that full statement on our website at news8000.com. The City of La Crosse's Financial and Personnel Committee approved the decision to buy a building for an affordable housing project. As News 8 Now has previously reported, the city plans to buy the Marine Credit Building on Monitor Street and renovate it into more than 30 affordable housing units. Earlier this week, another Common Council subcommittee approved the rezoning of the property. The full Common Council is expected to vote on the project at its next Thursday meeting. That's next week. The November midterm is about a month away, and the Wisconsin Department of Justice is reminding people it's illegal to intimidate voters. In a story you will only see on News 8 Now this morning, our very own Dua Israr spoke with the Attorney General, who says he is working with local law enforcement to make sure voters in La Crosse and statewide are safe.
When voters head to the polls, most want to cast their ballots and head home.
Wisconsinites should feel very comfortable going to their polling places.
As the election draws closer, Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul is warning voters about people who may try to interfere with the voting process.
Voter intimidation is the use of threats to try to interfere with somebody's ability to lawfully cast their ballot or to try to impact how they cast their ballot.
It can include verbal threats, being aggressive, and following voters around.
Something's happening out in the parking lot, someone's intimidating them out there, if they're following them to and from the polls, you know, then you definitely want to call law enforcement, get them involved.
La Crosse County Clerk Jenny Dankmeyer says while incidents of voter intimidation are low in the Coulee region, poll workers are trained to prevent it.
You know, just diffuse it the best we can without, you know, causing more disruptions or bringing attention to the matter.
AG Call says if voters experience voter intimidation, they should contact local law enforcement agencies.
Law enforcement agencies and prosecutors around the state have a guide right at hand that they can look to as they're determining whether there's any potential criminal activity that's happening.
Dankmeyer says voters can also notify poll workers and chief inspectors at their polling locations.
The polling places are as safe as we can make them. Poll workers are trained, the chief inspectors are trained to help diffuse situations.
She says everyone should be able to exercise their right to vote.
Like I said, around here, a lot of times people just want to go to the polls, they want to cast their ballot and they leave.
Without any fear.
Now, anyone can sign up to watch people cast their ballots. That's referred to as poll watching. But when you're being disruptive or aggressive, Call says that's when it can become a form of voter intimidation. At the end of October, poll workers will go through Election Day training that includes how to handle voter intimidation. The midterm election, again, is November 8th. A Wisconsin judge is blocking voters from canceling their original absentee ballot and casting a new one. It's a process commonly known as ballot spoiling. With his ruling, Judge Brad Schimmel is siding with a conservative group that filed a lawsuit claiming ballot spoiling is illegal and creates opportunities for fraud. Wisconsin's legislature states ballot spoiling is legal. The practice was important leading up to the August primary when a Republican candidate for Wisconsin governor and 3 Democratic Senate candidates dropped out of the race after their names were already printed on absentee ballots. Republican candidate for Wisconsin's 3rd Congressional District, Derek Van Orden, is meeting with law enforcement to discuss crime and drug abuse. Current U.S. Representative Brian Steele joined Van Orden in La Crosse for the meeting to discuss how these issues impact their communities. Van Orden says the key to addressing crime and drug abuse is communication.
It's incredibly important that we're operating in, we're synced together to make sure that we can have the most positive effect from the federal government at the state and local level.
Current La Crosse County Sheriff Jeff Wolf was not in attendance. Area volunteers are saying prost to the vote. At Copeland Park, Group celebrated Voter Education Week with Voter Fest, with live music, food, and with the opportunity for voter registration. Organizers also helped people make sure they've got the proper ID and documents to vote.
We're trying to clear up any confusion that there might be about voting. There's been a lot of changes in the last couple of years with absentee voting and voting by mail and that sort of thing. So we just want to make sure people have good information.
This was the area's first Voter Fest. Well, several La Crosse area hiking and biking paths will receive money from the state. Governor Tony Evers announced Wisconsin will receive $35 million in federal funds to spend on transportation options for pedestrians and bicyclists. The city of La Crosse will receive roughly $5 million for 3 projects. Viroqua and West Salem will also receive about $40,000 for traffic studies and safe routes to schools. A local project wins a statewide award for its history project. The Enduring Families Project received this year's Public Programs Award from the Wisconsin Historical Society. The project shares the stories of African Americans and other non-white settlers of La Crosse County. Historical Society leaders say this kind of representation is important.
When young people see their culture, their stories, their family represented in a museum, or in a video that they get during history class at school, it gives them a place in society that they don't have otherwise.
Now, you can watch all of those videos on the La Crosse County Historical Society's website. Beer and bragging rights, a combo usually in line for a rec softball championship, but this time both were up for grabs at the Westby Nursing Home.
Ready, get set, go!
Staff at Northland Nursing Home hosted their 3rd annual Stein races. They helped residents race down a course while trying to keep as much beer as possible in their cups. It was close, but Julia and Miriam won the championship race. Well, still to come here on your Friday morning news, a surge in gas prices is forcing delivery services to charge more. They share their side of the story next. And absentee ballot drop boxes in Madison are getting a new look and a message. With that in mind, we are sending you to break with something to put the good in your Friday mornings. Sweet tooth people everywhere. Halloween, it's just right around the corner. And ahead of that sugar-filled holiday, CandyStore.com is out with an interactive map. You see it there. It's got all 50 states' favorite Halloween candies. For example, the Dairy State, Wisconsin's favorite is Butterfingers, followed by Starburst and Hot Tamales. Nationwide, the most popular Halloween candy is the best. It's not close, folks. The goat of candy is Reese's Cups, followed by Skittles, then M&M's taking third. Your latest forecast is just ahead. You're watching News 8 Now this morning. We'll be right back right after this.
Very cold conditions outside now. Bring that jacket with you as we're currently into the 30s across much of the area. And this is about 10 to 20 degrees, if not of a colder difference compared to just the last 24 hours. Skies, though, are looking clear. Got a few clouds here across the area with your zone forecast today showing us that we will be warming up only into the low 50s come this afternoon. So, yeah, you'll probably need that light jacket, I would say, probably throughout the day today, as it will only be around 49 in Viroqua and the same temperature in Westby today as well. Trempealeau County 51 in Blair and 50 in Whitehall, 49 to the north though in Osseo today. Highs reaching 50 only in Eau Claire and 40s here towards the east in Loyal and Thorpe, 48 today in Stanley, 50 in Chippewa Falls. As we head now into your schoolcast forecast, looking at 39 with clear skies this morning, partly cloudy by noon today at 50 degrees, and then mostly cloudy this afternoon. We'll be looking at 51 degrees around dismissal. I'll have a check on your full weather forecast in just a bit.
Outdoor retailer REI is making Black Friday a permanent holiday for its approximately 16,000 employees. Since 2015, the retail store has closed its stores the day after Thanksgiving. Now REI says it will shut its operations every year on Black Friday while encouraging workers and customers to spend time outside. REI says shoppers can still place orders on its website, but they won't begin processing until the next day. Layoffs are rising here in the U.S. as are the number of companies initiating hiring freezes. According to outplacement firm Challenger, Gray and Christmas, job cuts were up 46% in September to nearly 30,000. Now, some economists believe the news may be efforts by the Federal Reserve to tamp down inflation are hitting the labor market. Federal regulators are ordering airlines to give flight attendants more time off between trips. The FAA announced a new rule requiring a break of 10 consecutive hours between flights. The agency says the 1-hour increase will make air travel safer for flight attendants and for passengers. Well, you may not love a $5 delivery charge when it used to be just $2, but a Madison area pizza place hopes you can at least understand it. The reasoning is pretty simple. It's gas. Andrew Banstra went along for a ride with the people who are now charging that extra fee.
When you drive for a living like Benjamin Rindfleisch does, rising gas prices hit just a little harder.
You know, it's not just you that it affects, and I realize it's not just me that it affects, but, you know, we're all feeling the hurt of the pump right now.
He's the deliveries manager for Sugar River Pizza Company and dealt with surging gas prices throughout the summer. Now spilling into fall, Sugar River's had to make a tough call, charging a $5 delivery fee.
Well, it definitely decreases our sales, and we see less deliveries coming through, especially in the last few months.
Sugar River's owner doesn't love the idea, but it's the only way to justify sending her drivers around the greater Madison area, with gas well above $3 and sometimes even $4.
You know, a 10-minute drive out to Oregon used to be not that big of a deal, but now that gas is $3.98 a gallon, it's a little bit more.
Less than a month ago, Madison hit its 6-month low, with the average gallon costing $3.29. Today, it's all the way up to $4.13.
That refinery in Toledo is probably going to be closed for a few months. So what's going to be happening is that different fuel truck drivers are going to go to other refineries to get the fuel to bring to Madison. And that can increase the price of what we pay at the pump.
Throw in Hurricane Ian's devastation and OPEC's decision to cut its supply by 2 million barrels a day, and there's little hope on the horizon.
The good news is that we have switched to the winter blend of gasoline, which is cheaper and less expensive to make.
Which leaves the drivers at Sugar River hopeful that the ascent into winter leads to a steep drop in gas.
Now, AAA tells us it could take longer than expected to change how gas prices affect delivery fees.
Well, there was a very cold start this morning with temperatures at 38 degrees in La Crosse. We do have a light north wind to work with now at 5 miles an hour. That is making our wind chill at 34 degrees this morning. River stage 4.82 feet and dropping. Temperatures across the area mainly into the 30s, 34 in Eau Claire, 38 as we saw there in La Crosse, but it's 29 degrees now in Sparta. And overall, this is about at least a 10 to 20 degrees of a cooler difference compared to just yesterday, with temperatures at 24 degrees colder this morning in Eau Claire. We do have a couple of clouds across the area, but overall things are looking mainly quiet and dry, and we're on the backside of that cold front that moved through, not to mention that high pressure to our west is helping to keep us mainly dry and quiet here for us to work with today. Notice that northerly wind here on the east side of that high pressure system affecting our weather here for today, still sending in that cooler air effect to work with, as temperatures will only be at 49 degrees at noon, followed by 51 degrees. We could see some increasing clouds around 4 o'clock as those temperatures warm up just a tad. 45 degrees, partly cloudy skies by 8 o'clock this evening. So we will continue to feel the effects from that front, dragging in that colder air. Highs today, 40s and 50s for much of Wisconsin. We'll be looking at morning low temperatures into the 20s to low 30s for early tomorrow. And then as we head into tomorrow afternoon, we're only going to be warming up mainly into the 50s. The 60s, though, aren't too far away. In fact, we do expect them to be here later this weekend and also into early next week. We do have freeze warnings to share with you that were just issued from the National Weather Service. This goes into effect from 1 a.m. tonight until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, and that's because these freeze warnings mean that our temperatures will be in the upper 20s to low 30s for every one of these highlighted counties, which does include La Crosse County as well. So cover up or try to bring inside some of those sensitive plants, or cover them up if you can. Protect the outdoor plumbing system as well during that time frame. So the high pressure to our west is going to continue to move our way, helping to clear out the skies here pretty much over the next couple of days. We also expect a wind shift out of the westerly direction as we head into Saturday. This is our next cold front moving in. That's forecast to move in on Sunday. Not to worry though, this front is not particularly strong, so we don't really expect it to really affect our temperatures all that much, but it will help reinforce at least some dry air to give us some mainly sunny weather conditions with a mix of clouds and sun. Temperatures warming up there, as you can see, well into the 60s Sunday and Monday, with even the 70s as we head into Tuesday, and then our next cold cool down arrives later next week. Highs jump down into the 30s or to the 50s Thursday and Friday. Stay tuned though, we're back with much more news and weather still to come right here on News 8 Now this morning. But for now, we're sending you to break with a look at what happened on this day in history. We'll be right back. Well, it sure is a much colder start to this morning across the Coulee region, with temperature readings hovering right around the freezing mark, and in some spots they're actually below freezing. Here's a quick check now as you head out the door, mainly in the 30s with 38 in La Crosse and 34 in Eau Claire. You're at 29 degrees though if you're in Sparta and to the east in Volkfield as well. Satellite and radar picture looking quiet, only a couple of clouds, but other than that, the skies are looking mostly clear here for us this morning, with dog walking conditions out there looking clear but cold, turning mostly cloudy by the afternoon. A few clouds linger as we head into the evening. If you plan on doing some outdoor mowing here, might want to wait until at least warms up later in the day. 51 degrees at 3 with some increasing clouds. Stay tuned. I'll be back with your commute forecast in just a bit.
Welcome to the Blitz. The high school volleyball season is coming to a close, and the Vikings are playing their best ball at the right time. Holman leads the MVC with a 9-1 record in conference play. Vikings looking to make it 10-1 in their final home match of the season. Let's head to Holman High School senior night for the Vikings. They were taking on Central High last night. The Riverhawks coming to play early in the first. Central already up 6. make it 7 thanks to this kill from Aaliyah Shield. Central goes up 11-4. But here comes Holman. Kendra Winker, the senior, doesn't let this shot get over the net. Vikings cut the deficit to just 4. And then it's Raina McCardle to Kyla Krisnovich for the kill. Vikings come all the way back and tie it at 12, but Central not going away. Avery Bienendahl to Ava Herlitsky. That shot can't be returned. Riverhawks jump back in front, but then the Vikings start pulling away, and it's the junior Izzy Jar taking control of this one. Strong kill there. The return sails out of bounds. It's 20-15 Holman. And then check out this shot from Krisnovich. The tip behind the back. The senior getting fancy on senior night. Holman takes the first 25-15. Second set, Riverhawks still battling. Ruby Gerhard's there for the block. She's pumped up. Central up 1 early in the second, but the Vikings too strong last night, especially Jar, the junior, slams it home. All Holman on senior night. The Vikings win their final home match of the season, 3-0. Big win last night for the Viterbo women's volleyball team. The V-Hawks winning a thriller at home over Dakota State in 5 sets. Viterbo now 16-6 overall, 6-0 in conference play. Let's hit the pitch in La Crescent. Lancers hosting Logan last night in the first. Solomon Zemansky gets a big leg on it. He bounces it in. Rangers jump up 1, but the Lancers, they answer right back. Brady Grupa, nice placement on this kick. He finds the back of the net. We're tied at 1 at the break. Second half, La Crescent takes the lead thanks to this shot from Wyatt Farrell. But with just over a minute left, Gabriel Weaver ties it for the Rangers. That's how this one ends. La Crescent and Logan finish in a 2-2 tie. That'll do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
North Korea launched 2 suspected ballistic missiles Thursday morning. One landed in the Sea of Japan and the other in North Korea. Now, it comes just 2 days after the North fired another missile that flew over Japan. South Korea is calling the North's recent launches a serious action that threatens peace and security on the Korean peninsula and in the international community. The Health Department of Argentina has a particular way of tackling mental health. Everyone in the city was invited to participate in a community pillow fight, which they say helps release stress. And while participants did not hold back any punches, officials made sure the activity was safe and fun. Well, President Joe Biden says the threat of a nuclear Armageddon is at its highest since the Cuban Missile Crisis. Speaking at a Democratic fundraiser, the president said Russian President Vladimir Putin is not joking when he talks about nuclear weapons. Back here in Wisconsin, opening statements in the trial for the man accused of the deadly Waukesha Christmas parade began the day with more interruptions. Brooks, who is representing himself at trial, was ordered to be removed from the courtroom before proceedings even began because he kept disrupting her. Once in the other courtroom, Brooks took off his shirt and put a sign that he was given to signal objections down his pants. Now, the district attorney says despite Brooks' disruptions, he is fit to continue with his trial.
Reference the court to today's filing, which Mr. Brooks provided. It is extremely well written. His handwriting is immaculate. It's perfect. The punctuation, the grammar is 100% accurate.
Now, the judge agreed and said the trial needs to continue and should continue. 14 secured drop boxes were banned from future voting use this summer by the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Now, the city of Madison announced Wednesday that the ballot boxes banned earlier this year will be covered with voting rights artwork.
Once covered in the colors of Madison's flag, blue and white, these ballot drop boxes offer a crystal clear message in black and white.
In the face of the big lie, we would try and put out a message about the truth.
The state Supreme Court ruled this summer that ballot drop boxes are illegal. But Madison left its boxes up and figured there could still be a use for them. The city's artistic director tapped New York-based artist Jenny Holzer to put a historical touch on them.
I mean, Sojourner Truth is one of the most important Black women in our history. She was a big advocate for voting rights and for human rights. And so to be able to use her words, you know, this much later and have them still present a message of hope is really powerful and symbolic to me.
Though there are just a few words on these boxes, the mayor told me it says a lot about her stance on the Wisconsin Supreme Court ruling.
The thing about the ballot drop boxes is that they were an option that worked best for some people. You know, we have heard stories from folks who have mobility issues, and this was an easy and close option for them. You know, rather than just going quietly into the night, we wanted to make a statement about that.
On top of a statement about voting rights, the boxes state where people can now legally cast a ballot. A month away from the November election, city leaders hope these dark colors serve the opposite effect, shining light on rights the city of Madison's leaders say deserve to be seen.
It's a reminder to all of us that, you know, we have to work for our democracy. We have to keep it going and keep protecting our rights.
Now, the city says Jenny Holzer did the work for free as the art was part of her political message. The mayor says all 14 boxes across the city will feature the artwork this week. On Thursday, U.S. Senator Tina Smith visited Mankato to tour the Kasota Prairie Community Solar Garden, while Senator Smith toured the 8-acre garden, which uses 4,000 solar panels. She spoke with local leaders in clean energy about the local economic impacts for Minnesota under the Inflation Reduction Act, the bill she pushed to pass earlier this summer.
It's really exciting to see what this looks like, and I am delighted to think about how the legislation that we passed that's now signed into law will make projects like this more affordable, and we'll be able to expand more of them.
As of now, Minnesota has 58,000 clean energy jobs, and solar energy jobs grew by 10% just in the past year. Senator Smith says the Inflation Reduction Act will help put those jobs into high gear. The president announced Thursday he will pardon all prior federal offenses of simple marijuana possession. Senior administration officials say the move would affect thousands of Americans.
There are thousands of people who are convicted for marijuana possession who may be denied employment, housing, or educational opportunities as a result of that conviction. My pardon will remove this burden on them.
President Biden is also encouraging governors to pardon state simple marijuana possession charges. It's currently classified as more serious than fentanyl. Mayo Clinic Health System is celebrating a milestone. On Thursday, staff celebrated their 30th anniversary as well as Mayo Heritage Days. The celebration included giving back. Armed with donated food items and some furry friends, staff dropped donations at La Crosse's Place of Grace. Employees had another reason to celebrate. The health system is also announcing it is giving employees a pay raise.
We always say that our primary value is the needs of the patient come first. Everything we do is based on that primary value, and that comes from the Mayo Franciscan values.
Both Place of Grace and Mayo are accepting donations on their websites. We have those links available at news8000.com. They fought for our country, and now members of the La Crosse community want to help veterans in need get back on their feet. Next Tuesday, the Veterans of Foreign Wars District 11 and Warfighter Advance are holding a benefit gala. Money raised will go toward Veterans Suicide Prevention Program. Organizers say their mission goes beyond the battlefield.
I don't think we should put up with that. We should do everything we can to help these veterans get beyond their post-traumatic stress and live normal, productive lives.
Organizers plan to split the money raised between Wisconsin's Department of VFW and Warfighter Advance specifically for their PTSD programs. Experts continue to raise concerns about the combination of the ongoing pandemic and the upcoming flu season. Experts say the best way to protect yourself from getting severely sick is by getting vaccinated, and they say the process can be a lot easier if you get the COVID boosters and flu vaccines at the same time.
Really, there's no data to show that if you get them all on the same day, that's going to make you feel worse, or, you know, it's going to cause you more side effects because you got 2 or 3 shots.
Gunderson Health System offers multiple COVID vaccines and boosters. The Gunderson flu shot clinics won't open until October 17th, but you can still get your shot during a wellness visit. If you scheduled your fall colors trips based on where you journeyed out last year or the year before, you're likely to be disappointed in what you'll find. According to the National Weather Service, the changing of the leaves is happening a little behind schedule compared to 2021 and 2020.
There's a few key ingredients.
What are you making?
Salad.
That make Minnesota's fall colors
Red, yellow, orange.
pop.
I've been seeing a bunch of yellow, orange, and green. They're cool.
It's what drew friends Renee and Joanna.
He's loving it. He's loving just being out here with everyone.
To take their kids to Elm Creek Park Reserve.
The trees that they've got the different colors, you can see the variation, like the ombre effect, if you will, of the tree, the yellow, red, orange effect. Yeah, love those ones.
There's lots of like leaves and it's very pretty.
Temperature, sun exposure, and rainfall impact the timing and vibrancy of the fall colors. This year, our September was dry and had warm nights, causing colors to start peaking a little later.
The perfect weather, perfect day for it. Yes.
The DNR's Fall Color Finder helps track where leaves are in their prime across the state. Some areas up north have reached their peak, while the metro is a bit behind.
This weekend would be a fabulous time to get out and enjoy some of the colors.
That's because cooler temps and wind are in the forecast, which could make fall colors fleeting.
I think within the next week or so, we're going to start seeing a lot of them dropping off the trees.
Something Minnesotans understand well.
We have such a short window, so we really wanted to make the best of it.
Now, during a drier season, leaves tend to turn colors earlier and will end the process quicker than in years with more rain.
Mainly clear skies here to start us off this morning. Only a couple of clouds, but that's really about it here for us to work with. Unlike yesterday when we did have that rain of showers and thunderstorms, that line that, if you will, that moved through. But temperatures are currently into the 30s as you step outside of the door. But we only warm up to 53 degrees this afternoon. A few clouds may make it mostly cloudy here later in the day, but overall much colder day. 33 degrees for tonight, mostly clear and yet cold. West winds settle in at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. As far as the drivecast is concerned here for today, mostly sunny skies and then followed by mainly cloudy conditions for that lunch hour briefly, and then skies then turn partly cloudy as we head towards the evening commute. But stay tuned. I'll have a final check on your forecast in just a bit. Jordan?
Looking forward to that. Thanks a lot, Derek. Coming up in the Buzz Report this morning, we begin with a long-awaited trailer that had fans practically breathing fire. Your latest Buzz is just ahead here on News 8 Now this morning.
Mainly cloudy conditions now with temperatures at 38 degrees. A light north wind at around 5 miles an hour is making it feel like it's 34 degrees thanks to the wind chill effect. A river stage at 4.82 feet and dropping this morning. Our current temperatures as you head out the door are mainly in the 30s. It's 34 in Eau Claire this morning, but meanwhile to the east in Sparta it's currently at 29 and we're seeing 28 degrees in Volkfield, 33 just shy of that freezing mark in Black River Falls. Overall, it's a huge change compared to yesterday. At least about 10 to 20 degrees colder, and in some spots 24 degrees colder, such as Eau Claire this morning. You're definitely feeling it up there towards our northern zones. But meanwhile, skies are looking mostly clear and quiet. And if we widen out the view, you can see why. We had that cold front move through, not to mention that we have a very strong surface area of high pressure to the west over the Dakotas. And this system is going to be responsible for giving us mainly dry and quiet weather conditions for a little while. Daycast 49 degrees, mostly cloudy by noon, and then partly cloudy skies, temperatures at 50 by 5 p.m. Partly cloudy skies. Overall, those fair weather conditions remain into this evening. Temperatures at 44 degrees by that point. As far as the temperatures area-wide go, you'll notice that we rise only into the 40s and 50s here this afternoon across much of Wisconsin, and then heading into tomorrow morning, we're going to be waking up into the 20s in some spots. If not, you'll definitely be well into the 30s for the most part too. And then by Saturday afternoon, we're going to rise only into the 50s, but you can see the 60s are not too far away. And in fact, we do expect that to occur more so later this week and also into early next week. We'll get to that in a second. A freeze warning has just been issued from the National Weather Service. This starts at 1 a.m. tonight and goes until 8 a.m. Saturday. That's because temperatures in these highlight spots which does include La Crosse County, could be as low as the upper 20s to low 30s as far as those temperatures go. So cover up or bring inside some of those sensitive plants and protect the plumbing system here as well. Getting back now to Sky Tracker, high pressure will continue to influence the weather throughout the day, keeping us mainly dry and quiet. If you look to the north, this is our next cold front forecast to move into the region as we head into later this weekend. Not to worry though, because this particular cold front is really not going to affect our temperatures too much. Instead, it's just going to reinforce some drier weather really behind it. As we take a look now at your next 8 days, we'll be looking at fair weather conditions through the next several days. You'll notice temperatures going up into the mid 60s by Sunday, then the upper 60s on Monday, and then we could be as warm as 76 degrees come Tuesday before this next stronger cool down arrives later next week.
Well, we begin our Buzz Report this Friday morning with a trailer.
I finally found it. Now who's gonna stop me?
More than 2 million people watched the live stream of the first teaser for the Super Mario Brothers movie. Chris Pratt and Jack Black lead the voice cast of the animated adventures, which bounces into theaters next April. Twitter users will now be able to get more information out per tweet. The social media giant is unveiling a new feature that allows users to combine text, GIFs, photos, and videos in a single tweet. Now, to get access to these multimedia posts, Twitter users have to click on the photo icon on the composer and add whichever forms to use. This new feature is available for iOS and Android owners. We have got some birthdays to celebrate as we wrap up another work week together.
That's right. Happy 8th birthday to Paisley, and she loves playing softball, basketball, and her new puppy, Rugger.
Happy 8th birthday this morning to Mason. Mason likes to go swimming and camping as well.
And happy 18th birthday to Nick and Ricky. Now, these twins love football, basketball, and volunteering in their community.
Happy birthday, guys. Happy 80th birthday to Fred this morning. Fred is a La Crosse native who is enjoying retirement with his wife. Happy retirement, Fred.
Absolutely. And happy 88th birthday to Joyce here. Joyce is a cheerful lady with a heart of gold and always has a smile on her.
And we want to wish a happy 88th birthday to Donna Ray this morning. Donna Ray's favorite pastime is crocheting and enjoying the house her husband built in 1973.
For those who are watching, we have some exciting news to share with you. Look Who's 8 is expanding its age range. We're adding the age 18 to our list of birthday shout-outs.
Yeah, so if you know a special someone turning 8 months, 8 years, now 18 years old, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button, which is under the Home tab on our website.
Well, you know the drill. We got your latest forecast. It's going to be cold, Derek.
Yes.
I want to pay attention to
Bring
that.
a jacket.
And we've got everything you need to know in 5 minutes or less with your morning news now up next. Your morning news now on this Friday. La Crosse School Superintendent Aaron Engel is facing criticism from parents who say he refuses to answer their questions about the district's upcoming referendum. News 8 now received this video from a parent at Thursday night's public referendum information session. This November, voters will decide whether to approve a nearly $195 million referendum to combine Central and Logan high schools. Superintendent Engel and staff have been holding informational meetings for weeks. On Thursday, parents tell us Engel answered questions for less than 15 minutes, and when he did, the crowd started shouting. The City of La Crosse's Financial and Personnel Committee approved a decision to buy a building for an affordable housing project. As News 8 Now has previously reported, the city plans to buy the Marine Credit Building on Monitor Street and renovate it into more than 30 affordable housing units. Earlier this week, another Common Council subcommittee approved the rezoning of the property. The full Common Council is expected to vote on the project at its meeting next week on Thursday. Mayo Clinic Health System is celebrating a milestone. On Thursday, staff celebrated their 30th anniversary as well as Mayo Heritage Days. The celebration included giving back. Armed with donated food items and some furry friends, staff dropped off donations at La Crosse's Place of Grace. Employees had another reason to celebrate. The health system is also announcing it is giving employees a pay raise. Experts continue to raise concerns about the combination of the ongoing pandemic and upcoming flu season. Experts say the best way to protect yourself from getting severely sick is by getting vaccinated, and they say the process can be easier if you get the COVID booster and flu vaccine at the same time.
Got some clouds out there to work with now, and it looks like those somewhat cloudy conditions will continue through at least, especially by the afternoon too, and then 51 degrees by 3 p.m., nearing the afternoon high temperatures around that point. Overall, the mixed clouds and sun and a much cooler day.
We are honoring a local project that is winning a statewide award for its history project. The Enduring Families Project received this year's Public Programs Award from the Wisconsin Historical Society. The project shares the stories of African Americans and other non-white settlers of La Crosse County. Historical Society leaders say this kind of representation is important.
When young people see their culture, their stories, their family represented in a museum or in a video that they get during history class at school, it gives them a place in society that they don't have otherwise.
Now you can watch all of the videos on the La Crosse County Historical Society's website. It is spooky season and time for all tall tales that can make you scream. The Bluff Country Tale Spinners and the La Crosse Storytelling Festival group invites Halloween fans to scary stories on a spooky night. It begins tomorrow evening. The stories are geared toward older audiences, but organizers say younger kids can come as well if they dare. The audience will experience a variety of tales.
Good stories, mostly some folk tales, some legend kinds of stories. There are two of our tellers that make up their own stories, so they're original stories, and one is a true story based on something that happened in Wisconsin.
Doors open at 7. Tickets are $15. You can buy them online or by calling the Pump House. We have more information you can check out at news8000.com.
And as you head out the door, you can expect temperatures to be mainly into those 30s and 40s. Temperatures at 49 degrees with some clouds here by around noon, and then 5 p.m. 50 degrees, high of about 53, with that northerly wind in place too at around 10 to 15 miles an hour.
And freeze warnings, Derek.
Yeah, freeze warnings actually, good point there, Jordan, does go into effect here tonight, 1 a.m. until tomorrow morning at 8, so be ready for that.
All right, well, don't forget to keep up with the news of the day at news8000.com, and of course we'll have the latest coming up at noon, and of course tonight at 5, 6, and 10. Thank you so much for your time this week. We appreciate it as always. CBS Mornings follows us here, and Derek and I will see you right back here on Monday at 5 a.m. Have a great weekend.